It's the Harbaugh
Hey,
Bowl Monday night.
we have to attack this.
Ravens.
We have to attack this with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind. Okay, it is the Harbaugh
Oh,
Bowl,
and we
and
are
who's got it better than us? Nobody, Mike. Thank you.
two
That
of
was
the
my
best
intro for the
coaches in the
Harbaugh Bowl.
NFL.
I'm sorry.
Truly a treat to watch every single time they go together. I think the last time was it the Super Bowl when it was the Ravens 49ers. Is that the last time they coached against each other? They probably played in a few years since then. But no, there you go, last time, the Super Bowl when
The lights
Baltimore won
went out.
34-31, 12 years later, week 12. And the Chargers at home, not favored in this one. The 3-point dogs. And the matchup everyone wants to see, though, can Justin Herbert, who is arguably the hottest quarterback in the NFL, over the past 5 games, he has 7 touchdowns, no interceptions, 9.0 yards per attempt. According to PFF, the highest graded passer in the NFL over that span, 17 big time throws over that span, just lighting it up with a group of, unheralded wide receivers, shall we say? That
Unheralded is a great way to
one of
put
them.
that. That's a great way to put that. Unheralded. Don't be disrespectful, America. These guys are good football players. We just don't know them yet. Justin Herbert's just getting to know him on a national stage, okay? We get the Harbaugh Bowl coming up. This is where guys become stars. They literally separate dudes from the guys in the Harbaugh Bowl. They do it every year in training camp in Owings Mills, Maryland. They did it in Costa Mesa this year leading up to the season. Now we get this Los Angeles Chargers team with an absolute horse at the quarterback position with a coach who knows how to use them. It's going to be a blast because obviously on the other sideline is Lamar Jackson. He's the 2-time MVP, and he's coming off of a rut of a few human games. He's looking to do some wild stuff in prime time, and it doesn't get any better than this. It really doesn't. I mean, for a guy, Justin Herbert, who's been vying for that elite status on a national stage and getting to be a more household name, because Justin Herbert, for guys like you and me, we've always loved Justin Herbert. He's got everything to offer. You know what I'm saying? He's like Mike Trout in terms of tools. He's a 5-tool player. And now we get to see all of them on full display with Jim Harbaugh. It's so much fun, Mike. I'm sorry. This game fires me up.
It really does. It's a great Monday Night Football matchup. And the one real matchup in this game that I can't wait to watch is kind of the one you highlighted with Ladd McConkey. Just these Chargers wide receivers in this passing game that's been so prolific of late, going up against the Ravens secondary that's been so much maligned. The worst pass defense in terms of yards per game in the NFL this season. I do wonder if at some point we see Brandon Stevens, the starting cornerback, benched for Nate Wiggins, the rookie, because he's allowed the second most yards in the NFL this season. He has been, at times, the guy that gets picked on by opposing quarterbacks. Because, as I mentioned in the first block, the Ravens don't play a safe brand of football on the back end. They're not dropping into zones to protect these corners. They're still letting them go out there and be feisty. Like they're still saying, we think our guys are better than your guys. And when Marlon Humphrey's healthy, when Nate Wiggins is healthy out there, sometimes they're correct. I think last week they were definitely correct in that assessment, and those guys had good games. But against this Chargers unit where Quinn Johnson is all of a sudden this big play threat, Ladd McConkey is all of a sudden this slot machine, I'm not sure they have the guys to do it, and I think the Chargers move the football on them.
Yeah, I definitely do think that they move the football on them. And you harped on it this week about the average depth of target. So, like, how far Justin Herbert is throwing to guys on average. And it's really friggin' high. It's a first down plus every single time. And when I think about what you just said about the Ravens secondary, particularly what you said about they're not just dropping these guys back and playing conservative. They're letting them get feisty. They're letting them take chances at the point of attack. You can't do it against this group. Against a guy like Ladd McConkey, you could be looking at a catch and run for 70 yards. You want to have that last line of defense, which is why I think Justin Herbert has a big day rushing the football. They've been utilizing and running it a little bit more. And I know that the Ravens do a great job against the run, but I'm not talking about just dialed up quarterback runs like we see with Lamar Jackson sometimes. I'm talking about moving pockets. I'm talking about running off that secondary and then Justin getting some advantageous looks to be able to move the chains. But obviously, I got Ladd McConkey going 150. I think he's going to be slinging it around every once in a while. Instead of the check down, he'll go for the first down with his legs.
Yeah, I think the other matchup I want to watch in this game after that one is we turn the ball around. When the Ravens have it, these Chargers linebackers who have played so well this season, Diane Henley, been a breakout star for them in year 2, their 3rd round pick from a year ago. How are they going to fare against just the whole dynamic that the Ravens throw at you over the middle of the football field, whether it's those two tight ends in Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely, whether it's Derrick Henry, the rushing leader in the NFL, running it, pounding the rock right down at you, coming downhill at 247 pounds, or whether it's these speedy wide receivers that they have running crossers seemingly all day long, giving you all this eye candy. And then if you do your job defending all that, all of a sudden Lamar Jackson breaks out in space, then you have to track him down. So I'm watching these two, Denzel Perriman, Diane Henley, and how they match up with everything the Ravens throw at you, because you have to have some smart guys in the middle of the football field, or else Lamar Jackson will pick you apart on Monday night.
Yeah, and it's such a mystery. Even the offensive line for the Ravens sometimes doesn't know who has the football. Think about how tough it is for the second level of that defense. And for a guy like Jesse Minter, I think the onus is on him this week to keep it really simple with his group and allow his unit to play fast. Keep the rules very simple, because when you play against Lamar Jackson, it's got to be binary. Does he have the football or does he not have the football? And once you attain that information, then you can play faster than before. But keep it simple. Allow your guys to get after the quarterback. And that's what I think really the secret sauce is, allowing those edges to collapse on Lamar Jackson. That's how you can make it easier for that second level of that defense. Get those edge rushers tuned into some power rushes and trying to collapse that pocket on Lamar.
And I do think that's one of the things that's beautiful about this Chargers defense and Jesse Minter, and what's so different than we saw in the Brandon Staley era, is the simplicity of it. They are a too-high defense. And the difference between Brandon Staley, who was a too-high guy, and now is it's so much more static. They are running similar concepts, play after play after play, and reinforcing that this front seven, we stop the run first. We are not going to put more safeties in the box. We're not going to add more guys into the box to stop the run. We are going to play more disciplined football than they ever did in the Brandon Staley era. We are going to kick butt in that aspect and allow our guys who are coverage players, our safeties, our corners, to play coverage, because the guys that we play to play run defense will be good run defenders. So it's such a more cohesive unit there than we ever saw in years past for the Los Angeles Chargers. And I think that's exactly what you have to be to face up against this Ravens team. And why I like the Chargers in this game is because you have to not take the eye candy. You have to not be going the way that Todd Monken and his play calling wants you to go, taking you out of place with either play action fakes, run option fakes, things of that nature that are just meant to distract. And I think I love the way this Chargers defense is set up to sort of combat that this weekend.
The way you just put that about their defense, they're kind of unsung heroes. Like you talked about their receivers as unheralded and their defensive line as unsung heroes. And that really is what the culture that Jim Harbaugh is instilling in his football team. He's like, do more so that your teammates that you're helping can have to do less and are able to make bigger plays. It's like less is more, simple, play fast. And you can see an unrelenting commitment to the running game early in the season. And we've seen it with their run defense as well. Minter's got a great group, and it's Harbaugh's culture. I like that matchup.
Can't wait for that one on Monday night.